So I'm chilling here drinking my coffee, and we're going to do a replay review here. So this is Lazarus. Where are we at here? Okay, yeah, this is Lazarus. Defense felt really good. Attack was really hard. High ground obviously isn't Ryan's strong suit. Felt we could have made better progress without swapping if I had known how to play around the pressure we were under. I'd love to know about any fundamental aspect I'm lacking. Also, we were mostly focused. I was focused on positioning and cover usage this game. So this is where I can do better. I'd love to hear about currently gold 1, aiming for Grandmaster. Again, okay, yeah. Let's take a look here, y'all. So this is gold Reinhardt on Eichenwalde. I used to think I was hip because I said Eichenwald. But I actually asked a German guy, and he said, no, it's Eichenwalde. So maybe I'm being gaslit by the German folk. So if I mispronounce it, it's not my fault. Nothing in my life is my fault. Always the environment with which I was raised, my culture, my environment, you know, like we said. Okay, pushing the Ashe out, that's fine. Don't over push. You don't really care about her if she's in that choke, as long as she's in that choke, right? You're more about controlling her sightlines. I would also be a little cautious about how much shield you're burning here. So you got to think of your shield as like a resource that your team can use or that you can use. Most of the time, everyone knows it's a resource for you to use, right? I think everyone's pretty familiar with that at this point in time. However, I mean, let's not lie here. Your team, you holding shield here, is kind of useful for your team, right? That's useful. That means I can peek a little bit more aggressively and get a little bit of extra damage, and I think that's fine. But you got to ask yourself, like, at some point, these guys are going to walk through the choke. Will I have enough shield at that point in time to do what I'd like to do? And if the answer is no, then you should probably play a little bit more selfishly with your shield. Now, what I would do is I would pause the video right now. And I ask myself, at what point should I stop shielding and start to worry more about my own positioning and worry about my own shield HP so that I can actually make a play afterwards? Pause for a second and actually come up with a number. I'm gonna give you my guess. So looking at their comp, my guess would be actually a little bit more shield than you might think, just because of the amount of damage that team composition has. So I would say you should certainly try to aim for like 600, 700 shield. Try to avoid letting it get as low as it is right now in case you'd want to push. Case in point here, right? Where this shield feels very low, that beam almost totally broke it. Whereas another 200, 300 HP shield there would have been a little bit easier to actually finish that kill. Just a good general thing to look for. Okay. Okay. Close. Same kind of thing here, right? A little too much, like your shield is actually never fully regenerated from the time you take a little bit too much damage. It's come close, but even here, right? Like you see Bastion turret, okay, let the shield, okay? But like right now, blocking the stickies, you really don't want to be using your shield anymore now. And that might mean that you don't peak this here. I know you have your Fire Strike, but you really don't, you're still also not full HP. Like, okay, let me kind of describe to you what I'm talking about. With the new DPS passive especially, it becomes really important for tanks to be very specific when they're engaging and when they're disengaging, whether that's you're holding a shield or pinning or swinging or whatever, you're taking space, whatever. Right now, you're kind of in between where you're poking a little bit with your Fire Strike, you're holding shield a little bit for your team, and that's fine and all. Like a Fire Strike's useful, like you have been hitting some nice Fire Strikes and all, but at a certain point, you need to be really cautious about how much damage that you're taking, because especially with this DPS passive, you're going to be kind of bleeding out resources. Right now, it might be better to just let the Fire Strike sit on cooldown, build up your second one, and just not take any damage. Especially considering that along the same lines of your HP, your shield is also really, really broken. And we're at a point in time now where like it could be very reasonable for the enemy team to push at this point in time. They've been slowly whittling down your HP, slowly whittling down your shield, and now they have Bastion turret form. They might push now. And the question is, are you in a position to actually punish that push? And the answer, I think, is not really, right? Not really. Was it worth the Fire Strikes? Was it worth the extra shield for your team to put yourself in the position where you're at right now? And I don't think the answer is yes. So even like right now, I actually don't think that I'd be peaking this. I don't think that you have the HP or the shield to make this work. I think if anything, I'd hold down here an extra second or so, and then maybe go for a pin play when I have like a slightly more HP, slightly more shield. You want to avoid gray, if that makes sense. I know you're not playing a Winston. Winston's obvious. You have bubble, you don't have bubble, and so on. But even a character like Reinhardt, you want to avoid spending too much time in the gray, especially with this new DPS passive. Like even here, I would probably just straight up back out here. At least immediately hug to a corner so I wouldn't let my shield break. Like even here, why are you peeking here? Why are you here? Are you throwing a Fire Strike? No. Are you shielding anybody? Well, you could be, but you're too low in HP and too low in your shield to justify that. You need to be totally disengaged, waiting for full HP, waiting for full shield, and praying your team doesn't die. Because now you are in a position to where you could be pushed and you are vulnerable yourself. Nice shatter, but that's total luck. Any better team there punishes that with a shield, and then you instantly die. And that will happen, even at this rank. So less gray, more black, more white. That's what we want. Okay. Little shield there, a little fire strike there. That's fine. But now we got to be a little bit concerned because we're losing a little bit of HP. How much damage am I taking that's unnecessary? You notice, by the way, that you still have not full HP. Good. See, that was clean. That was clean. Out. And then commit. Bam, 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 bam. Right? I know that's partially because of the trance. That was good. Now here, don't be gray. You could have potentially pinned out of that quickly if you've been fast enough. Okay, that's going to be first point. So for me, I don't think there's anything major playstyle-wise that was the problem. I mean, we could definitely look at some of the fire strikes and but I think for the big thing is like your mindset of being too in between and not clearly in or clearly out. Nice fire strike. Wow. Are you in or are you out? What you're doing right now is useless. You're giving up space, but you're not fully disengaging. You're just letting them shoot your shield, and you're not like actually fully committing to holding the corner either. You see this? We're just kind of standing here. If you wanted to actually help your Bastion, you would have shielded your Bastion. If you wanted to back out, you would have backed out. If you wanted to hold the corner and swing, then you would have held the corner and swing. You're in between. You're in between. What that's meaning is that you end up shield botting. You actually end up shield botting and or putting yourself in positions like now if you wanted to actually swing on somebody, it's kind of far away. More decisive with when and where you're holding space. You're holding a corner here or you're holding a corner there. No, none of this in between crap. What are you shielding for here? Maybe for a fire strike? Going here. Fire strike, sure. Do you need to be... Okay, so now, what should you be doing? Let's actually do that a few times, because you're not in the call with me. This would be a good time to like pause frequently and just ask you, what should you be doing right now? My argument here is taking as little damage as possible. Maybe holding the payload with cover and not peeking whatsoever for any reason. Not even flashing shield until they turn and push me. In which case, I'd push them. Don't peek these guys. Don't peek them. Don't peek them. Why would you show shield here? If you're gonna peek, push. If you're gonna peek, push. Otherwise, don't peek. This is good. You pin this. If he's used his hinder, you can always just shield it or cancel the pin if you're quick enough. Good. That's good. Okay, let's keep going here. Using a little bit of shield here for your Zen is fine, because there's actually a good reason for you to be peeking at this point. But even then, you have to make a really, really just quick decision about what you want to be doing here. This is fine. This is fine. One free shatter, one free kill. Totally worth it. Keep going. Let's here. Why are you shielding? Your Mercy's rising over here. Why are you blowing shield? Are you shielding for your Zenyatta specifically? Now I know why you're shielding. I'm not even so certain that I would be shielding the Bastion ultimate, frankly. Because I think I'd rather see you actually take some more proactive action and just disengage or play a corner instead. Okay. Let's keep going here. Shield. Don't take damage. Okay, go. That's unfortunate. Need to break pylon here. I think you guys are okay. Yeah, so this is okay. Like, let me give it to you straight here. You've probably realized that we've kind of been cranking through this, and there hasn't been a ton of feedback. It's because there hasn't really been much to say. I think for the most part, the fire strike accuracy has been okay for a gold player. I think the shatters, taking the solo shatters, has been okay. I think your cover usage has been okay. But the reason we've been hammering at that is because it's been really the criminal thing. It's not that you're not using cover. It's that you're showing too much of your body or showing too much of your shield without any real given reason. If you're shielding somebody to poke, okay, fine. But at what point do you want to start preserving your shield? Are you peeking for Fire Strike? Okay, sure. But how much of your body do you need to peek? And are you peeking when you don't have Fire Strike unnecessarily? And maybe even that last fight there, for example, like let's say on that recontest there, was it worth the 300 damage that you took to throw both Fire Strikes? Was it? You know, I'm actually not so sure. Like the damage there, it might have been better to pin the cart, hold shield, and just stand there and throw your Fire Strikes once you were a little bit closer up and personal. You know, I want you to kind of think of Reinhardt as every time that you lose HP and you lose shield, it's a resource cost. And I know that sounds like stating the obvious, but it's expensive, especially in this economy with the DPS passive. It is expensive to lose HP. So you have to ask yourself, you know, what value am I trading for this? And I'm not discouraging proactivity, nor am I discouraging shielding your teammate. What I am thinking is encouraging you to do is to be more cognitive and thoughtful about what am I doing, to be more decisive when I'm pushing. Okay, I'm not doing anything. I'm pushing, I'm not doing anything. And a little bit less of this just kind of floating in between just because it's so easy to heal me back up to full and because I have resources to blow. All right? Like even here, ask yourself, did as much of your hitbox need to be peeking when you threw this Fire Strike? Could you have shielded a tiny bit closer to the corner and then thrown the Fire Strike from here so that you would take a little bit less damage? You know what I'm saying? Something to consider. That was good. Just gonna wait for your cast, that's fine. Now ask yourself again, what's the end goal with Reinhardt? Right? It's to swing on people, right? Can you swing in people from this choke? No. So what's the end goal here? Well, the end goal is to get on top of these people. Will you be able to pin directly at them? No, it's too far away. So what's your next step? What's your two-step process to create space for your team? Where do you want to go? Pause the video. All right, hopefully you have an answer now. Your goal should be probably to pin at some point into here or here and slowly stair-step your way closer. More Fire Strikes, more damage, and maybe even finding pressure on it here from this angle. You will not win that shield war. And to do that, though, to do that, you need HP and you need shield. So right now, you're burning the last little bit of midnight oil to shield your Bastion, but you're not creating space. You're at best just maybe winning the shield war. You're hoping that Bastion makes a mistake. And he does, right? Your Bastion made the previous mistake. Their Bastion made the mistake now. But that's not consistent value. That's not selfish value. I want you to be thinking, I'm Reinhardt. I want to swing on people. I'm not getting any value right now. I'm not forcing the objective. I'm not pressuring squishies. I'm not clearing space. So I want to be thinking, where do you need to be? Where do you want to be? And the problem is here, you got here, but you have no shield. I don't even know if that'd be pushing forward here. You see that? That's so unnecessary. What did you get out of this right here? Ask yourself, what did I get? Look at the HP. Look at the HP. What value did I get? Right? You had no shield. You didn't have the HP for it. You didn't have the proximity that you needed. And so you go for a play and now you're going to pay for it. And it's actually not you that's paying for it. It's your Zenyatta. It's your Bastion. Your Bastion's not going to be able to get Harmony Orb because the freaking Reinhardt with a 20% DPS passive is just going to sit there and bleed resources. Your Cassie's not getting damage boost. This is opportunity cost. Look at how passive your Bastion is playing. Imagine how aggressive your Bastion could play with a double Mercy and Zenyatta pocket when you with full shield pushing in. Same thing with your Cassidy, right? You are the problem here. You need no gray. And even now, stop. You cannot take any more damage now. You're still waiting for your shield. Wait. Okay, let's be clear. I mean, could you have waited another second or two? Would you have liked to have 400 shield? I know I would. Fire Strike is a little sloppy there. Sure, good. Oh, shield, back. Unnecessary damage. As soon as you get anti-nated, frick, out. Or swing, one or the other. None of this in between. Right? And so basically you could look at this like, what could I have done better this fight? Well, you made no egregious, obvious in the moment errors, but it's how the things were set up where your team had a man advantage for a long time and you were unable to push because you literally wasted 7 or 8 seconds by taking unnecessary damage. Which puts your entire, wait, what's going on here? Wait a second. It ain't over till it's over. Go, pen, go. You needed to go. There you go. He's gonna have sleep dart. You could pin her. Just cancel your pin. Nice. Okay. You see what I'm talking about with the damage? Look at this. Look at your HP. You're just bleeding resources here. You peek for a Fire Strike. You do 100 damage or 200 damage maybe, but you also lose more than 200 damage. Actually, you didn't even hit the Reinhardt. So that's the kind of stuff that you have to improve because you're running Zen Mercy, which is obviously not optimal for Reinhardt, but you are being an unbelievable leech right now to your DPS. Don't do this. Be efficient. In and out. Even here, why are you swinging this far wide to throw and miss both Fire Strikes? Right? I think you're trying to push up for your Bastional, but do you need to push beyond the corner? Where do you want to go? One other detail as well that's important to remember is whenever, this is actually something that I coached on a top 500 Reinhardt round not too long ago, is you need to be cautious with your Fire Strikes when you're about to make an action. Right now, you are going absolutely ape. Like you're in it to win it. You're taking action. You're going in. So you got to ask yourself, am I going to be needing 100 damage Fire Strike soon? I mean, yeah, obviously. Like something's going to happen probably in the next 10, 15 seconds where you're going to wish you had Fire Strike. And that's fine and all, but would you not want to save it because you're about to go in there and shatter them in the backline? Like this is flank shattered material right here. Blam! Fire swing, Fire Strike animation cancel, right? So I think whenever you're going for these poke Fire Strikes, they're good. They're very important to like throw them on a corner. Don't peek. Don't take too much damage. But I want to see you use your Fire Strike more as a dueling tool when you are about to take action. And right here, you are definitely looking to take action. And I'm actually surprised to see you double back to the Reinhardt when you had a straight sneaky path into the backline. I don't even know that they knew you were there. That Fire Strike is criminal. That being said, I do like your positioning here. I like the proactivity that you're taking. This is good. Good shatter this. Nice. Very good. Get out of the fire. Get out of the fire. Get out of the fire. Life hack. Don't stand in fire. No, it's fine. Oh my days. Oh my days. Oh my days. Oh my days. No, what is your Cassidy doing? This is good. This is good. This is good. Now, what I would do here is I think that you need to... You need to clear top. Now, you are down one, so be careful. Oh, that's a good play from that Ana. That's all right. You guys might be okay. This is okay. You need to be a little bit more decisive with that play there, and obviously getting slept there was... I mean, that's it, right? Like, that's going to cost... You getting slept there is going to cost you the entire fight. But I don't dislike the concept of what you were doing. The concept of what you're doing was much better than just sitting AFK on cart. You had an opportunity to push. Just didn't quite hit it mechanically. That's all right. Those Fire Strikes are kind of whatever because, would I have liked to Fire Strike here instead? Yeah, probably. But as long as you're about to take proactive action here. Now, what I would definitely do here is I would definitely clear top. Definitely clear top. You see everybody here? Opportunity to push a squishy for free without having to worry about the enemy tank? Do it. Do it right now. Let's go. I'm surprised to see you going straight to card here because you are operating at a disadvantage right now. One of the limitations of Reinhardt is that there's not always going to be opportunities to clear high ground, right? This is something that Cloudy and I have been coaching for years, right? All the way back into Overwatch 1. But there's not always the opportunity to do this, right? Like, let's say it's Gibraltar and second point, and it might be better just for you to leverage cart and hold shield and bait them to drop to you. But here, I mean, come on, Sebastian on by themselves, right? They're all going to stand here. You can get to here way faster before they can get to you, force them off of high ground, and then go worry about cart afterwards. I'm surprised to see you drop here, considering the creativity that we've seen earlier. I do love the target priority here, and I also love the lack of gray play here. Maybe a little bit too much damage there, but it's all right. And then here, there's no hesitation. In on the squishy too. Keep swinging. You still have the HP for it. You could pin on that. You can also pin on this. Yep. Good. No gray. That's kind of an unfortunate miss, but that's all right. That swing needed to hit. Yeah. I think the idea of what you're doing here was okay. In terms of once you actually executed it, you needed to kill the Torbjorn. You failed mechanically. If you kill the Torbjorn there, I think this fight goes a little bit differently. Main thing there was opportunity to clear space in the high ground, and you missed that opportunity. But other than that, I think it was okay. Again, what does a Fire Strike provide there? You know, is it better here, especially now that you're actually going directly into them? Would you prefer to have 2 Fire Strikes now? You could pin this. Yeah, pin it, pin it, pin it, pin it. You don't need the Shatter there. You don't need the Shatter there. Because the Shatter already does, he's already stunned. He's in his ult, right? So you just need damage. He's standing still. So just pin this. Blam. Swing, drop off, and just drop off the high ground, right? Back to your team. So the execution of that play was just really bad. That's all there is to it. You need the pin right away. Create the space. Sleep dart. He freaks out. That's good. And then if you live here, maybe you're okay. I mean, yeah, he definitely would have died there. I mean, it would have... Then they have no res, right? So now you're entering this fight at a man advantage. That's super unfortunate. So you're clear... I think here's what you're probably feeling like. The first fight you cleared high ground and it didn't work. It was the right idea. You just got slept. You just misplayed it mechanically really bad. Second fight, you did not go to high ground, even though it was the Bastion on a wide open. Big missed opportunity. This one, you go to high ground again, but maybe if you're going to go by yourself, and you are by yourself right now, there's nobody on cart, there's nobody elsewhere, you are 1v5ing here, you need to be a lot more efficient with how you play this, either mechanically, or maybe you don't even do it at all. Maybe you just sit here and just kind of lurk and spook them, but don't really take the fight because your team is not fighting at the same time. Does that make sense? So I think it's easier to see this from a third-person perspective, but this was really just an awareness issue of like, even if you had hit the pin here and gotten the kill, it still would have been a very, very probably risky or stupid play just because your team is not actually engaged at that point in time. So, you know, either mechanically execute this one perfectly or consider being a little bit more cautious. This is where you can definitely clear the high ground if you want to, but you need your team to be helping you. And honestly, if they're all up here, then going to cart by yourself might not be a bad thing. You see, the reason why we wanted you to go to high ground previously is because they were just sitting on cart. And so you could just easily clear high ground almost by yourself. But if they're all on high ground, then hey, maybe forcing cart isn't so bad. So let's keep going here. I hope that makes sense. That's a little bit of an esoteric principle, but I think you're smart enough to understand. If it doesn't make sense, just let me know. Okay, this fight's lost. Good disengage there. 2 fire strikes to break a turret. Tragic. Okay, now you're going to kind of help your team cross there. And keep in mind, you might not be able to shield your team all the way across, but if you can start to kind of cause a little bit of chaos up here, then that will basically be an indirect shield to allow your team to cross. So you don't really need to worry about this right now. Like, you can't help that. Your job is just to make these guys look behind like they were earlier. That would be my suggestion there. You can shield them, but I would not say it's the easiest way of getting value. Oh boy, this is scary. Yay! Oh no. Oh no. Oh, you almost got him. Maybe you can actually kill him here, yeah. You might be able to live here, actually. Just be very careful. Yeah, I was gonna say, just be careful here. Right? Sure. And be careful, because yeah, I was gonna say this is better. Okay, it was almost better. As soon as you see like 3 people, just disengage again, back up, and you'll be like, oh hey, what the frick? It's a Torbjorn and kill this guy, right? As soon you know that you are not fully regrouped here. You did get a kill, but you're not fully regrouped. So as soon as I see, I'm out. I'm not in. I'm out. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, this is good. And so now they're gonna have to drop the shield here. Don't take unnecessary damage. It's a good counter pen. Yeah, this is fine. Kill the squishies. Kill the squishies now. Kill the squishies. Go for the run. No, go for the run. Kill the squishies. Torbjorn needs to die. Oh, yeah, missed opportunity there as well. Now, would that have won you the fight? I'm honestly not too sure. But I think it being a little bit more decisive and like locking down the squishies. So let's actually talk about this. So here's what I've got. Number one, I want you to keep an eye on the gray area stuff. When are you peeking? How far are you peeking for fire strikes? When are you peeking for shielding? How far are you peeking for shielding? Is the shielding even necessary? And then are you just peeking for no reason at all? I understand that there's scouting involved whenever it comes to making plays, but are you taking unnecessary damage in situations when you're not really getting anything out of it? Because if the answer is yes, then you need to reconsider. It's because it's going to prevent you from doing the aggressive things a little bit later, and it's also going to make you a super leech under your backline. I think that was a major problem on your defense, and a little bit also on your attack as well on first point. Then when it comes to actually clearing the high ground, I think the idea of what you were doing was okay. You need to be, number one, be more aware of if they're all on high ground, you need to be a little bit more cautious about clearing the high ground. And if they're not all on high ground, then you need to be more aggressive clearing the high ground. But it all comes around like, are you playing with your team? Not necessarily on the same spot, but is your team fighting? Because if you're fighting for high ground by yourself while your team is like still kind of standing in choke, you might have a hard time, in which case going card or pushing leverage elsewhere objective might be a better idea. In terms of micro, not as much. I think the stuff that when it comes to micro for me was more to do with the gray management. But if I had to add one other little detail, I would definitely say keep an eye on when you're using your fire strikes leading up to some big crazy firefight. If you have a firefight coming up soon, try and save on to maybe one of your fire strikes, maybe two. It's good to use them in poke situations, but when you're about to take some significant action, fire strikes are a really important dueling tool, and you want to keep a handle on those. So finding the balance between being a little bit more cognizant of that, I think will help you improve significantly. So let me know if you have any questions. I think overall your play style here definitely shows some logic and some thought, but there's definitely a lot of details here that can improve on. All right, cheers.